Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Rowell. Alright, I've been teasing you about this video for a couple weeks now. This is actually based on some advice that Jordan gave me. As you know, he's been telling me some kind of tips and tricks to improve and boost my views on my channel. And he's given me some real simple ones like ideas on how to rename my videos, things like renumbering my system so it's a little easier to understand, things like making playlists. But he's also given me a few more complicated things, like the idea of maybe doing some epic videos to help me boost my channel. One of the things that he's identified that he thinks is a potential problem with me growing my channel significantly is the fact that too many of my videos kind of are just of limited niche interest that are only interesting to people who live in Waco or my loyal fans who watch me every day. So this was actually a suggestion that he gave to me. Today we are at the Texas Book Depository in Dallas, Texas, and we're going to spend the next couple days talking about the John F. Kennedy assassination, which happened right here. That is the six-story building, a six-story window right there where Lee Harvey Oswald took out John F. Kennedy, right almost where I'm standing. So we're gonna, like I said, this is gonna take about 3 days to get through it. The first day we're gonna look at the Texas Book Depository and Dealey Plaza. On day 2, we're gonna retrace the final steps of Lee Harvey Oswald from the moment he completed the assassination to the point where he was arrested in Dallas, in the Texas movie theater. And then on day 3, we're going to talk about Lee Harvey Oswald and the days he spent in jail. We're going to discuss Jack Ruby, and ultimately we're going to go visit the grave of Lee Harvey Oswald. So come on, I think this is going to be interesting. So I've been told I can't shoot any video in here, but I can shoot as many photos as I want. So I'm actually going to take a cue from Jordan and just do a little photo montage for this part. This is a photo that was shot at 12:40 p.m., about 10 minutes after the assassination, and the police have ordered that the Texas Book Depository be sealed and searched. During the presidential procession, photographer Tom Dillard thought he saw a rifle hanging out of the 6th floor window of the Texas Book Depository, and he snapped this photo. Unfortunately, the rifle had been pulled back in at this point, and there was nothing to see. This is an image of Lee Harvey Oswald's application to work at the Texas Book Depository. It was filled out about a month before the assassination. This is the corner window of the 6th floor where Lee Harvey Oswald fired on the president, and it shows how the boxes were set up to block what was happening at the window. Several boxes were set up in front of the window to act as a sniper's perch, something that Lee Harvey Oswald could stabilize his rifle on when he was firing at the president. This image shows a couple of spent shell casings near the corner window. The police found this empty bag with Oswald's prints on it and believe it was the bag he used to bring the rifle into the Texas Book Depository building. This is a view out of the 6th floor corner window that Oswald had as he fired onto the presidential motorcade. Now this is actually the corner window as it's set up today in the museum exhibit. This is behind glass so you can't get at it, but you kind of get an idea how everything was set up at the time. And this is another angle of the same corner window. This is a view out of the window adjacent to the one that Oswald fired his weapon through. And even though the trees today are larger, you can still see the spots on the ground where the presidential motorcade was when the 2 shots struck the president. At 2:20 p.m. on November 22, 1963, President Kennedy's casket is loaded onto Air Force One at Dallas Love Field. Onlookers include Jacqueline Kennedy and presidential advisors Lawrence O'Brien and Dave Powers. And of course, this is the famous image of Lyndon B. Johnson being sworn in as President of the United States on Air Force One with Jacqueline Kennedy at his side. It should be noted that she's still wearing the same blood-soaked outfit that she was wearing when her husband was assassinated. This is the suit and the hat that Dallas Police Homicide Detective Jim Lavelle was wearing when Lee Harvey Oswald was shot. Those are also the same pair of handcuffs that connected Jim Lavelle to Lee Harvey Oswald. And of course, this is a famous shot of Jack Ruby shooting Lee Harvey Oswald. This is a hat that Jack Ruby was wearing when he shot Lee Harvey Oswald. This is the sword that Lieutenant William F. Lee of the U.S. Marine Corps was wearing as he stood at guard at the head of John F. Kennedy's casket as it lay in state. Following the funeral mass on Monday, this is the president's casket being moved to Arlington National Cemetery. This is the same make and model of camera that Abraham Zapruder used to shoot the famous Zapruder film. There were a large number of photographs taken around the time of the assassination, and these are some of those photos and the cameras that shot them. The Warren Commission agreed that this bullet was the one that passed through President Kennedy's neck and caused the wounds to Governor Connally. This is a mock-up diagram of Dealey Plaza showing the projected bullet trajectories out of the 6th floor Texas Depository building. This is Lee Harvey Oswald's gold wedding ring made in the Soviet Union. And this is an image of Lee Harvey Oswald wearing that ring. It's noted that as per Russian tradition, he was wearing it on his right hand. This is the scene of Patrolman J.D. Tippett's murder in Oak Cliff. He was shot several times at close range with a .38 revolver at about 1:15 p.m. This is a photo of Lee Harvey Oswald holding the rifle that he shot John F. Kennedy with. During his interrogation, Lee Harvey Oswald claimed that this image was staged. This is a photograph of the actual weapon found near the 6th floor window. These are images of Lee Harvey Oswald's hands and fingerprints, and those prints were found on the butt of the rifle and all over the place at the shooting scene. This is a rifle similar to the model used by Lee Harvey Oswald to assassinate the president. The actual weapon is now in the National Archives. This is a photograph of the rifle where Lee Harvey Oswald hid it after the assassination. This was Oswald's clipboard found near the staircase on December 2nd. None of his orders had been filled. This is the known and speculated path that Lee Harvey Oswald followed from the 2nd floor of the Texas Book Depository as he exited the building. This is the 2nd floor lunchroom where Oswald stopped and was intercepted by the police before he exited the building. This was about 12:32 p.m. This is the stairwell that Oswald used to escape from the 6th floor down to the 2nd floor lunchroom. And this is the entrance to the stairwell from the 6th floor. So now we're going to go outside and take a look at Dealey Plaza in the area. This is basically Houston Street here, and Kennedy came around this corner here onto Elm Street, which goes right down there under the famous triple bridge that you see in all those famous videos. And of course, this is the Texas Book Depository, and it's that second window down on the far right there. That's the 6th floor window where Oswald fired his rifle. Now Oswald managed to get 3 shots off. One of them completely missed and hit the curb somewhere, and I guess some people got hit by shrapnel from that. The second shot happened when the limousine was right here. This is the one that went through Kennedy's neck. They've got the mark on the ground there. And then the third X is down here in the middle of the street, and this was the fatal shot. At that point, the limousine accelerated and went down the hill. So this is where the fatal shot was here. And if we flip around here, this is the famous grassy knoll that we've all heard about. And Abraham Zapruder was sitting up right here in front of this post here. In fact, there's kind of a flat area in the ground. I'm guessing a lot of people like to be photographed right here. So I'm guessing that's where he was. That's where the photos all kind of show he was. So, you know, this was his view of the day. That light pole was still there. There was a sign out there, which doesn't appear to be there anymore. And the kill shot was literally right in front of him. So I showed you the image of all the cameras. Yeah, a lot of those cameras were on the other side of the street. A few of them were over here on the grassy knoll area. And since the Zapruder tape was kind of the core piece of information, a lot of those other photos were lined up with keyframes on the Zapruder film to provide context for figuring out where and when things happened. And of course, just like in many places in Texas, there's a historical marker on the side of the Texas Book Depository. We go basically into the history of the building, but Obviously, the last paragraph says on November 22nd, 1963, the building gained national notoriety when Lee Harvey Oswald allegedly shot and killed President John F. Kennedy from a sixth-floor window as a presidential motorcade passed this site. And also right out here in front of the site where the fatal shot was fired, there's a historical marker on the grassy knoll here. It basically says Dealey Plaza has been designated a National Historic Landmark. This site possesses national significance in commemorating the history of the United States of America. 1993, National Park Service, United States Department of the Interior. So basically right out here on the marker, you can get up there and you can look and see exactly where the sixth floor window was. Now they note that the trees have grown up a lot since those days, so in the earlier days when the trees were smaller, there was a more unobstructed view. But even in the final shot there, you know, it was there was a clear shot with a window there. So I hope you enjoyed our visit to the Texas Book Depository and Dealey Plaza. I hope you'll come back and visit us tomorrow when we retrace the steps of Lee Harvey Oswald as he escapes the Texas Book Depository all the way up to the point where he is captured in the Texas Theater. Thank you as always for watching, and I will catch you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.